Today, I'm talking to Jason from Bepensa, who's leading one of the most interesting culture-forced innovation stories in the world of consumer goods. And we'll be talking about people, we'll be talking about technology, we'll be talking about sailing, we'll be talking about trust and the business, and how agent can become the baseline for efficiency in execution-first companies. And so all of that in the next half an hour or so.
Thanks for having me, Florian. I believe these conversations are amazing and they actually provide with such valuable content for the rest of the world. So thank you for having me. I'll try to tell my story in an interesting way. I used to be a high-performance athlete, sailing. I did sailing for most of my life, very competitive. Trials for the Olympics in Tokyo 2020. We won different Pan American Games and Central and Caribbean Games and World Championships, stuff like that. So yeah, that change is common denominator on my life and high-performance teams as well. We used to do foiling boats. So these foiling boats have 5 people on board of the boat or pairs, and everything happens really fast. So you need to be able to communicate each other very good, to be able to collaborate between each other very good, and basically do perfect teamwork. And companies actually behave the same way. It's just on a different rhythm or a different focus. But at the end of the day, I believe that specialization with everybody in each one of their parts of the process, it's key for the overall success of the project.
And so maybe to start with your company, could you tell us in a couple of seconds what Bepensa is, what the company does for people not familiar with it?
Yeah, sure. So Bepensa, it's a Mexican group. It's based in Mérida, Yucatan. It's a family-owned business. We've got 5 different divisions. So we have Bebidas, which is the Coca-Cola bottler in the southeast of Mexico and the Dominican Republic. That's the division I'm actually at the moment. And then we have 4 divisions. We have financial division. We have Bepensa Industrial. We have Bepensa Motriz, which is an automobile division. We have Bepensa Spirits. And we have, and Bepensa Beverages. So we're a big corporation. We have over 14,000 collaborators in the company. And we got operations in the US, Mexico, Dominican Republic at the moment. So we're a Coca-Cola bottler in the southeast of Mexico, and I believe one of the most successful ones.
Yeah, so 14,000 employees, multinational, complex, interlocked operations. And so every company is somewhere on their AI journey. So what AI looked like at Bepensa when the journey began early on?
Well, actually, I joined the company about almost 3 years ago now. 2.5 years ago, and there was none. So it's been really interesting to see the progression we've made in the last couple of years, because we had these ideas of predictive analysis in the company. As you know, we're a CPG company, so as much as we can forecast our demand will be just so helpful to our supply chain process. And we started with small models. We had a set of data scientists in the company, which were running statistical models at the moment with Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. And we rapidly integrated Dataiku. Actually, it was kind of the core of our journey somehow, because then we started developing more complex models over and over again. And it just created this great synergy with whatever was going on in the world and the infrastructure we were generating in the company. But still, it was kind of something very abstract for the rest of the company. We had a C-suite level or a CEO that was asking us to have more progress faster and more impact inside the company. At the same time, we had a lot of collaborators or employees that actually had no idea where to start. So we started just by trying out Dataiku. Was one of the platforms we used at the beginning, and we're still using today as our core developer for AI. And we've been progressing pretty good. Basically, right now, we've got different teams in different divisions already developing internal models and external models. But we believe that the main factor or the main differentiation for this race is going to be the team, not actually the technology.
Yeah, it makes sense. And if we stay a bit in this initial phase of your AI journey, and from my perspective on the AI journey at the beginning, you've got those expectations from leadership on one end, and on the other end, you've got like systems and data and tools that in a given state. And so you have on one end, the first use case that creates a value and recognition with the company, like the project. And on the other end, you've got the first systems that breaks down and you realize that you need to rethink your platform or your data and your tooling and so forth. Do you remember what were the first two things? The first use case that was creating lots of value and the first time you realized that you had to rethink the tool set, the system, the approach?
Yeah. Don't forget imperfect databases companies like ours got, because we're a company that grew pretty fast. We developed most of our software in-house for the last 25 years. We've had very complex databases around the company, around the group. And to be able to extract the data and use the data on a productive way, it's a huge challenge. So the first things we started doing was automation on tons of processes that were basically repetitive processes. And then I think one of the main projects that actually marked a past and a new beginning was our hyper-segmentation analysis. So we run promotions constantly on discounts on the market, right? So we've got a big traditional market in Mexico. Traditional market for us is these small stores, sometimes even in the house of our customers, and they sell in these small stores like Coca-Cola and different types of our products. And we were actually understanding the clients very, very good. We did a lot of analysis and surveys around the clients and the market, but we weren't actually able to take advantage of that information. So with Dataiku, we developed this hyper-segmentation analysis that helped us measure the elasticity of each SKU on each one of the outlets on our market, so we could define which was the strategy that would create more market share at some point or more profitability to the company. Instead of having promotions.
Yeah, because it was clear that the first project was a step change, meaning it's not something that people could have done on top of Excel, coming that up, because it needed to be hyper-segmented and hyper-personalized and so forth.
Yeah, so we've got around 120,000 outlets in the territory, and we've got around 400 SKUs. So I would guess Excel would collapse in about, 4 seconds if we try to run that on Excel. And the good thing was that we started democratizing the models. So one of the main objectives of my team is how can we develop a certain project that will create big impact in the company, but that we can actually release the project to the internal client or the rest of the team for them to use it themselves. Because if not, we were falling into the bad practices of every time they needed an analysis, they would call us and say, "Hey, Jason, can you run the analysis for this promotion?" And with Dataiku, we managed to actually give them a user so they can upload the list of outlets and the list of SKUs and the parameters of the discounts they wanted to test in the market. And they could actually run the promotions by themselves as much as they could, with no necessity to be able to know code, right? Or to be experts in Dataiku. Actually, after we automated everything, it was just easy for them to run promotions constantly. Of course, the tweaks and geeks and small fine-tuning of the model, we keep on supervising it ourselves, and we keep on iterating on the different nodes that we have. But at the moment, they run promotions by themselves. So that's a key part of our team's objectives.
Yeah, which is like this self-service motion on AI, as in how can you enable the business to be on various things depending on the sophistication, able to do things by themselves, and how you push things down, which I think relates to one of the topics you mentioned before, around the importance of culture and teams, and culture as a central part of like changing the mindset and get some adoption on AI practices at large.
Yeah, I think, well, you've got tons of experience in this, and I would love to know your take on this. And this is actually we just innovating at the moment. So Bepensa, it's a family-owned business, as I mentioned before. It's in Mérida. It's been in the peninsula for the last 76 years. And we're part of the Coca-Cola system. So we call it a system. It's the relationship between the outlets or the clients, our customers as well, the bottlers, and the Coca-Cola company. And that system is extremely, extremely successful. It's been successful for the last 136 years. So, as you know, coming into the company and saying, okay, the data, it's telling us to do this and that. And because if we've been successful so long doing things a certain way, why change it, right? Why do things differently just because data tells us to do things differently? And at the same time, we've got 14,000 employees. and which are the core part of our business, our outlets, our clients, our customers, and our employees. So we decided to do things a bit different because technology is changing so fast. And every time you give us a conference or a lecture, you mention the same thing. The last time in New York, you just mentioned agents at the beginning of your talk. And a year before that, we were talking still about the LLM mesh. So it just evolved so fast that I believe that we need to create these high-performance teams inside the company that have the capacity to adopt new technologies as fast as they can. Because the AI race is going to evolve so fast. Every day is evolving so fast that if I don't have a team that's able to perform under pressure, to be able to make decisions really fast, to be able to fail fast, and to be able to just pivot on the right moment, then it's going to be impossible to win this race. So our focus is on culture. And culture means a lot to us. So we're creating this innovation committee inside the company. It's actually being led by our CEO. And this innovation committee, it's got the CEO of each one of the divisions and an innovation champion and innova teams inside of the divisions. And we're creating everything around innovation. So people start feeling way more comfortable on this risk-making or risk-taking decisions or this fast, rapid, evolving technology world right now. And if we have the right people with the right tools and the right mindset, it doesn't matter how technology evolves, we'll be able to adapt to that technology faster. And that will create faster impact into our business. So I know a lot of companies, especially tech companies, focus on the product and focus on the service they're providing. But on our side, being a CPG company, I think we should focus on the people and be able to adopt those technologies that are emerging in the market so fast.
So much to unpack here. When you talk about high performance teams, you think about what size of team are you talking about? And do you think about an elite team that adapt technologies and enable the others? What do you think is the organizational model you have in mind?
Well, it's not easy, but we've tested a couple of different things. So the first one is we created this innova team inside each one of the divisions. And we focused especially on soft skills, not the hierarchy position in the company, but soft skills. We wanted people that was able to actually have a bigger vision of where we want to go as a company, as a division, where's the biggest impact they can generate in each one of the areas. And we try to include one representative of each one of the departments in the company. So the innova team's got someone from marketing, from the sales teams, from operations, from logistics, from IT, from digital transformation, from business intelligence, all of the departments of the company. And we combine all of these teams to be able to create this journey inside the division. Now, these guys are not responsible for all the innovation inside the company because we're already innovating a lot on different kinds of ways, like digital transformation or AI or Six Sigma or whatever. And they are the guys in charge to empower the rest of the team to be able to drive innovation way faster. And I think that's kind of the right way to do it. Then I think we've developed multi-area teams to be able to push different projects. So I'll be pretty quick on this. We developed this program. So 3 times a year, all of the executives, we go into the market and we actually get on the trucks for a full day. We deliver the Coca-Cola bottle cases. So it's a very demanding work for us to be able to understand the biggest pains of the business. Now, once we detect these opportunities on the market, we then consolidate all the opportunities inside of the division, and we pick the 3 or 5 top pain points in the division to be able to push innovation projects on those opportunities. The cool thing is that, for example, you go to market and you detect this opportunity on racks, just the racks to put the cases on in the truck, for example. And I detect a similar opportunity. We'll be set up on the same team. Even though you come from, the board, and I come from a manager in marketing, whatever. And those teams working together to find a better solution for a pain point or a big pain point in the business. It just gives us different perspectives on how to solve it. and how this pain point is affecting the business. And that gives us a better scope on how to push those projects forward.
Yeah, so it's really about like, would that be for data or AI or not? There is really in the culture of the company of like having an understanding of the pain and the drivers of the business and the driver of innovation across the business.
Yeah. I think there's a saying that we just got this innovation course, and the best idea without execution, it's worthless, right? So we can have these theoretical models in the company where everything looks amazing on the data side, but if we're not able to push those models and implement those models in the market itself, they're just worthless, even though theoretically they can give us tons of profitability or savings or incremental sales. So our main focus right now is let's try to understand the pain points of the business as best as we can before we start developing new models between the rest of the teams. And that actually it's helped us just deliver way faster than we expected.
Yeah, and so I guess that after a few years doing this, you must have formed your own mental model of this scaling of AI. The fact that you can have like lots of different potential use cases or projects, but like some of them worth it versus not, hard versus not, would show ROI versus not. What do you think about this scaling of AI and this portfolio of projects across the business?
Good question. So again, about a year ago, about 2.5 years ago, we were talking about bots and automation. And then we were talking about the LLM mesh, and now we're talking about agents. And I don't know why somehow agents, especially the agents that are focused on customer service or sales and stuff like that, they just seem like they're becoming part of the business as usual right now, like really fast. I think it's one of the biggest innovations we had and the ones that we adopted more easily into our companies. So I think that should be like the basic standard we should have on all companies, just to be able to automate processes as much as we can. The other thing we need to focus on our business, at least, is execution. So we're actually an execution company. What makes us a great company is the capacity to have the right product at the right place, at the right temperature, for the right customer, always. And to be able to do that, it's not about sales. It's about getting to the customers every day and invest the amount of time you need to invest to set up the coolers, set up the racks, make sure there's enough inventory in each one of the stores. So everything that saves us time will be extremely valuable for us because we're going to be able to invest that amount of time on execution. So let's set an example. We can create an agent that will actually contact the outlet or a customer and will take the order on a very, very efficient way with a suggested order and maybe a suggested extra SKU to cross-sell or just bring an extra amount of sales into the company. That will give our pre-sellers the capacity when they get to the store, instead of spending like 6 or 8 minutes capturing the order, they'll just invest that in execution and customer relationships, and just talk with the woman in the store and ask how their kid's doing. And that personal relationship just gonna flourish very, very good, because the time they're gonna be spending there is gonna be very, very valuable and not just taking an order and put it into the smartphone. So I would say that everything that saves time for the workforce to be able to focus on the important tasks on an everyday basis will be a big differentiation in our industry.
And I guess that's, you see that this new wave of agentic AI as a way to actually bring efficiencies to the business in areas that were not touched by AI before.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when we think about AI, everybody thinks about digital transformation, or most of people, and how can we get to our customers and our clients faster. You gave an example a while ago about agents inside our workforce, and I think that's one of the most relevant things we need to do. For example, activating promotions by an agent that's actually supervising the RGM strategy to be able to activate a promotion when sales are just decreasing on a more efficient way. That's really, really important. But at the same way, you have places like route distribution or route optimization of our trucks, efficiency on our production lines. Production lines are the core of the business. Again, So if you can manage to push AI into the production line, you have predictive analysis on maintenance of the lines, of maintenance of the route, that will make just a huge impact on the business. Because of right now, even though everything's basically automated, there's a lot of human interaction inside of the company. Think about our warehouses. So we have tons of trucks moving thousands of millions of cases per day. And a safety matter would be very important for AI to take advantage of. So how can we push AI into the trucks so there's no people actually driving the trucks and maybe just thinking about the best way to redistribute the inventory of different distribution sectors? So I think it's going to affect the whole business, and it's already affecting the whole business. I think that the faster we get into everybody's hands, it's going to just explode the impact in the company.
So the way you talk about it, you already have somehow mapped in your head a roadmap for building agents in various parts of the business. Do you have like a quantified way to think about it? Like 10 agents, 50 agents, 100 agents or use cases? Do you have like already this type of order of magnitude in mind?
Yeah, I would say one at a time.
One at a time. That's a good way to think about it. Because you can get to infinity with it one at a time.
Yeah. It's going to be everywhere, in my opinion. So I wouldn't dare to say 5, 10, 15. Maybe we'll get 50 agents in a year. Maybe we'll have, 400 agents in a couple of years. As the fast pace this technology is evolving for us, it'll just open the doors constantly. So we take one agent at a time. We take one necessity at a time in the business. We're focusing a lot right now on agents on the support to the sales force somehow. So we want the agent to be able to talk to the customer and complement the sales that the workforce is doing right now. So for example, we got this presetter, it visits the outlet, it captures the order on the smartphone, and he didn't manage to push, Fanta 600 ml, which is in promotion right now, or a discounted price right now. Have the agent try to push that extra sale at the moment. That's kind of a main goal. Because we're a mature business. And even though we're a mature business, we are always looking for those marginal opportunities to be able just to add an extra case, an extra case, an extra case. And having information of the sellout of that product on similar outlets, it's key. And AI will give us that, or already gave us that. So understanding that not only I'll be able to sell you this product, but you will be able to sell it faster and you'll make more money out of it. That's where we create this circular economy on the project, where AI just turns like a main factor to be able to be successful.
Yeah, because you already have the data, you already have the model, but like with agents, you can get essentially faster into an actionable insight or an actual action on the field to turn it into practical value.
Yeah, and you'll be able to actually just hyper-segment the promotion. So let's say for each one of the 120,000 outlets we've got, you can recommend a different product. And that different product is going to accelerate the sellout on each one of them. So that's very, very interesting for the future. And I believe that's going to make a big switch on our business, on the industry generally. So we're trying to get ahead of that technology.
Yeah. And so if you fast forward a couple of years, you can get to a situation where you've got indeed more agents being leveraged in the business for more actions, all of that powered by various data and models. And you end up with your team having to control and manage all of those decisions. And the way I listen to it, those decisions are impactful because it's about like inventory and replenishment and location and management of warehouses and promotion strategy and all of that good stuff. So I think it's many of the very important execution decision of the business. So how do you think about the challenges and the importance of this governance of all of those agents and models? Because you're just increasing the stakes. You're becoming like the engine or the brain of the company.
I believe it's very risky, to be honest. And governance and developing models on an ethical way, it's very, very important. Because technology and the private sector and companies were moving way faster than regulation at the moment. So it's very, very, very hard to be able to regulate AI at the moment. So it depends on the companies to be able to be very ethical and very conscious on the way we're developing our models. Now, even though we want to democratize the AI inside the company, so our main goal is actually get it to everyone's hands. I want like a single presetter on the street to be able to use AI on its favor somehow. And we want to use this for the marketing department, the sales department, IT, everyone in the company. But we need to be able to govern it ourselves. So even though everybody's got access, for example, to Dataiku right now, the governance of the models and the capacity to develop the models, it's still on our department. So we're able to just control that. We have models that are actually working the right way, if you want to call it that way. But I think it's going to be a big challenge as well. We have no idea how fast can we evolve. So we're very, very, very conscious on governance, on cybersecurity as well. So our company being such a big company with so much information, our outlets and our customers and our employees, we're very, very focused on cybersecurity. So having internal models that we can actually use to take out the most out of AI inside the company, it's something really interesting for us instead of just going outside to the web.
Yeah, and I guess that those challenges might be common to every company having lots of existing operation, but also trust they've built to the various partners you mentioned, meaning as you mentioned, you're part of an ecosystem, so you need to build and maintain that trust, which is also, I guess, part of the reason of the caution related to AI and the need of safeguards. But do you have any advice you would like to give to other companies in that situation, having lots of existing operation, being very execution focused?
Yeah.
If they are starting their journey, if they want to accelerate their AI journey, they feel they're stuck somewhere, who should they think about unlocking it?
I don't know if I'm the right person to ask. I would ask you the same question. But in my opinion, you mentioned trust, and I believe trust is critical on every single part of AI, of the AI journey and the innovation journey. So the first trust you need to generate, it's on the board, the C-suite and the CEO of the company, for them to be able to trust you with this journey that you want to accelerate inside the company, and to believe that it will actually generate very significant impact in the company. So the toughest part of the journey is to get your board on board of the project and really, really on board. So we're past that point already. It's been a journey, but we're good. So start on the top. And then after that, start generating trust to your internal clients. Because the main issue is that companies have done the things a certain way for so long right now that they're very skeptical when we come into AI models, right? So for example, we have an agent, and as soon as we start hearing a voice agent, they're like, there's a lot of delay between the question and the answer. And it's like, I know there's a bit of delay, but just bear with me a second. And everybody's just trying to justify why isn't good for the company because they feel threatened. So always have an approach on how can AI improve their work, their productivity, their quality of life, spending more time with their families back home because they can finish their workload faster. I think that trust needs to be generated between AI and the teams that are not early adopters of the technology. And that's going to make a huge impact on how fast the rest of the company is going to be able to adopt the technology. So that's the second kind of trust I would recommend you try to push, and that's the most important one. And the last one, it's with your clients and your outlets or your customers, whoever's actually receiving this output information on behalf of the company. Because now we've got a lot of cyber attacks, and we've got a lot of phishing and tons of different threats online, that it's really, really important that when they pick up the phone or they get a text message or they go into the app or whatever interface they're having with your company, they feel really, really safe. They feel like they're speaking to the same guy that's visiting the store for the last 15 years, one day in, one day out, which knows the name of their kids, which knows the name of how well they're doing in college, and they have like a really close relationship. So if you try to break that and just substitute it with AI, it's going to be really hard. Just try to make sure everybody speaks the same language, try to make sure everybody's on the same page, and that everybody it's on the same level of acceptance of the technology. I think that's the biggest challenge. Once you unlock that, that high performance kind of feeling, athletes, we call it in a trance mode. Like when you see these athletes that are actually just performing and they're floating on top of the floor, you're gonna start looking around. You're gonna see the company just thriving like that, and that's very, very special.
Understood. I think those are like very good words for a conclusion. Meaning, if I got it correctly, first, AI can turn your company into athlete mode, where everyone is like trying to overperform or to perform more. Did I got that correctly?
Yeah. I think maybe it is kind of, you can run a marathon in 4 hours, but with AI, you can run it in 2.5.
I wish I could run a marathon in 4 hours. I'm not even sure. If I'm honest, I'm not sure if AI can help me on that topic, but that's the challenge.
You never know. Someday we'll get to that point. But I do think it's a mindset. It's based on culture. People need to feel comfortable with it. They need to try it. I don't think anyone can teach you how to use AI. Like nobody taught you how to use the internet when it came out. You just had to go online and start typing www.hello.com and that was it. Now it's the same thing. You need to go into the AI models. You need to start using platforms like Dataiku with drag and drop. And it's not a tool, it's an ability. That's the way we see it over here. So you need to be able to use artificial intelligence on different parts of your life to be able to be this high performance executive nowadays. It'll just create this big revolution in the world.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for your testimony, and good luck for your next step in your AI journey, and good luck for your next race too.
Thank you for having me. I don't want to finish the call without congratulating you and the rest of your team. You're doing an amazing job. I do believe truthfully on democratization, freedom, liberty, and access to everyone. And I believe Dataiku, it's a great tool to accomplish that. So congrats on your side, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.